Top 6 of Strive is in half an hour. We'll be seeing Nitro. I don't know when this is going to be out, but hopefully our predictions came true. Hopefully they'll be watching this like, yeah, they knew Nitro and Punk were going to win. Of course. Let's go.
Well, we can like use this as a tease at the beginning of the episode. This whole clip, and then we're like, oh yeah, stay tuned for the end of the episode, and we'll show you what actually fucking happened. All right, you ready?
We're on it.
Did you already crack open your drink? All right, we'll crack it, and then you can intro us.
All right.
Into the mic, please. Cheers.
All right.
Drink
All right.
Trust your gut.
All right. What's up, beautiful people? Episode 2, FlyFighters podcast, live from EVO. We got the FlyQuest booth behind us. It is Sunday, Championship Sunday, top 6. We got 2 competitors in top 6 today. We got Nitro winner's side and also Punk winner's side. And I'm so excited, boys. What's up? How we doing?
So this EVO, to kind of fill in my backstory, so I haven't been to EVO in, I can say that I haven't been to EVO in 8 years. Last one was 2016. Yep. Obviously, Melee was there. Melee is not here. However, I'm still having a great time running the booth over here. Did my first meet and greet. I mean, I wasn't expecting people to come up, but I'm on my little Strive arc. Andrew and I were both picking up Guilty Gear Strive. Just weak high mains going at it.
I'm currently 0-10 against Jake. I guess. So we said this is episode 2, but this is actually episode 1 because it's on the FlyFighters channel.
Right.
The first episode is on Jake's channel if you want to pull up.
That's episode 0. Now it's episode 1.
Yeah. But I guess for the fans who already kind of know the lore, we don't really need to give them the intro, but I guess we can like talk a little bit about each our different experience levels and the appeal of this pod in that sense.
Okay, how about I'll start. Former Smash player, former professional, played for 7-8 years for CLG, and my first EVO was 2013, so 11 years later I'm back, and project manager now at FlyQuest, run the FGC division.
I am current competitor, playing competitively Super Smash Bros. Melee close to 10 years now, sponsored by FlyQuest, traveling all over, as well as dabbling into other fighting games such as Guilty Gear Strive. Planning to do more, as well as Street Fighter 6. We got PunkDaGod and Nitro both in top 6 of EVO today. Sunday Championship, and yeah, turning more into the FGC side.
Right on. And I am the FlyQuest video guy, Andrew. This is actually my first EVO.
Yeah.
So our different experience levels is like veteran, current competitor, noob. And I've been getting washed in all these comps, especially with Jake. But I am learning so much, and I'm pretty stoked to break into more FGC talk and pod with you guys.
Yeah, it's cool. On the bell curve, on the FlyFighters podcast bell curve, I'm a little bit over the hump. Jake is right at the apex, and Andrew is just getting started. Yeah. So
I'm a wee.
So
nice,
it's
nice
good.
Little balance.
Yeah, it's good. And I think it's dope because this is your second EVO.
Yeah.
Your first EVO. This would be my 7th.
Oh, two hands?
8th EVO? Something like that?
I didn't know you were at 2013.
Yeah. I was at every single Melee EVO, and then I've been at the 2 previous EVOs from this and this EVO, so I want to say that's 8.
Out of
9?
Out of all this, so obviously you've been to way more. This is my second one.
Okay.
Other than 2016 EVO, where you got to play in top 8 in Mandalay Bay, I don't know, is that one your favorite, or do you have a set EVO if it was like 2013 or 2014 that was like, this is the best EVO I've ever been to?
The best EVO is 2016.
Yeah.
The second best EVO is 2013 because it was the first time we were there as Melee. We recap this in the Drunk History video, which y'all should check out.
It's pretty cool.
True.
We got
True.
But I was in the shower this morning thinking about it. This EVO has a good chance of eclipsing 2013 and maybe even 2016, which is crazy because I was on the top 8 stage in 2016. Yeah. That was like one of 3 big career changing moments. So but the fact that we have 2 competitors in top 6 today, I always want to say top 8, but the fact that we have 2 of them winners top 6 could be amazing.
Do you feel like a proud dad then? Like, is that why it might eclipse other past EVOs?
Absolutely, and because I mean I run this program, but I hate taking credit from competitors. You know, they do like 99% of the work. So I am a proud dad. I can't say that they're here entirely because of me or because of like one person other than themselves. But I mean, like, yeah, obviously I'm super proud. And can I talk about like some EVO seeding stuff really quick?
Run it.
To discuss. So what's interesting, we have 2 competitors in top 6, as I said. Guilty Gear, Strive, Nitro's in there, winner's side. Punk, he's in there, Street Fighter 6, winner's side. And the number 1 seed from both of the tournaments are out of the tournament. I think a really underrated thing about being a competitor is winning a tournament, a major tournament, as the number 1 seed. You have the easiest path, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Maybe you can speak from experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and I wanted to throw it over you because
100%.
Yes, it's so difficult.
I've been to, I think, post Genesis. I think the only time, so I won Collision 2023 right after Genesis. I'm not sure if I was the 1 seed at that tournament. I might have been for Battle BC following in that spring.
Yep.
And it feels like every single time I've had the number 1, number 2 seed, I've always underperformed. It's always been like I'm like the 5th or 6th seed, and I jump up.
Right.
Which is funny because yeah, you're the 1 seed. Naturally, the bracket is just gonna go in your favor, but it's less of a matter of the seeding than who you're gonna play. I feel like in Melee, because if you can be the number 1 seed, but you can run into your bracket demon, or you can run into someone who has your number. So I guess in the Melee context, it's less about the number 1 seed and more so like who you actually have to fight.
Right. I mean, the same could be said for any game, though. And the thing about being the number 1 seed is for the rounds in the pool or the bracket, you are always seeded against the quote unquote worst opponent in the field. Because, you know, if there's 256 people in a tournament, the number 1 seed plays the 256th seed. And, you know, once we get to top 48, the number 1 plays the 48th seed. You know, shit like that.
Yeah.
But in reality, when you actually get there and you have to perform and the standard is either championship or bust, it is so hard. Like, and that's just something people don't talk about at all.
Some nerves.
Yeah, there's a mix of things. You know, people want to prepare for you. People, like, you got a big target on your back. And obviously, depending on what kind of competitor you are, you know, the expectations are there as well.
Sorry to bring up seeding one more time. You said that both Street Fighter and Strive, the number 1 seeds, are out of the top 6, correct?
Yes.
But there are also people who are in the top 6 that were heavily underseeded, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
In fact, last night I was looking over some seeds, and the top 6 of Guilty Gear this year is fucking crazy. The top 6 of Guilty Gear this year, there's only 1 player that is seeded in the top 6 that actually made it. In fact, there's no other player besides Zondo who was seeded 4th that was seeded in the top 10. In the winner's side, nobody has... So the seeds, I'll just go through them right now. There's Jack, 21 seed. Nitro, 17 seed. Tatuma, 10. Ooey Gooey Chewy Snicker, 38 seed. Zondo, 4th. Red Ditto, 15th. If you add all those seeds together, you get 105. If you were to just add seeds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 together, you get 15. Sorry, you get 21.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm not understanding this math. Is it just when you add the seeds together? We can cut this if I sound really dumb.
No,
Is it just like so adding the seeds together? Like what does this mean?
So the number 1 seed is the favorite to win the tournament.
Yeah.
The number 2 is the second favorite. Number 3 is the third favorite, and so on. So what we're trying to say is that your seed is where you are expected to place. Jack, who is the online warrior, was projected to place 21st, and now he is guaranteed 5th place. So it's crazy. It's crazy. And so, like, the average seed in this top 6 is 17, which doesn't make any sense.
Which shows how tough the competition is when so many players, when they're bound to be upset, especially in the best of, I mean, I know Strive is best of 5 format, but just watching Strive overall, the game feels super swingy. Like, I watched, side note, I watched Tempest in like round 2 or something like that. And one of the rounds, this guy like perfect, like got a perfect on him, like perfect.
Yep.
And Tempest, like in his Tempest way, like wasn't even phased. Was just another day at the office, and he was like next round, and then he just destroys him.
Yep.
So I feel like Strive is like a huge composure game, and I feel like when there's so many players stacked up, I feel like it makes sense why so many upsets can happen, especially at one of the biggest Strive tournaments of all time.
Yeah, and I said this. I enter Strive tournaments as well. To me, my life is in God's hands. A round can just get out of hand really quick, and that's why like playing at EVO is such a rush. And I think that's why there's like so much adoration for EVO in general. Pivoting over to Street Fighter. Street Fighter, as I said, we have Punk in winner's side of top 6. It is like the most diverse Street Fighter top 6. I wish I could say top 8, but I was just scrolling through Twitter today and I saw a James Chen tweet, and he said top 6 for SF6 is 1 US player, 1 UAE, 1 UK, 1 China, and 2 Japan, which is insane. Punk is the only player to repeat top 6, which means in the past 2 years he's outplaced 12,300 plus players.
Damn.
Tokido and Angry Bird as well, essentially placed 7th, I believe, just outside of top 6. But that's crazy.
Yeah. Can we talk about what's the super young player, Ending Walker? Correct.
Yes.
Where is he from? He's Europe, right?
Yes, I believe he's the UK rep.
He's UK, and he also made top 6.
Yes, top 6 winners.
Winners. Okay. And is he projected to play Punk, or is Punk?
No, Punk is gonna play Momochi.
Momochi.
And then Ending Walker is gonna play Big Bird, I believe. Yeah. Ending Walker is gonna play
one of the birds.
One of the birds.
There's Big Bird, and then there's Angry Bird.
Angry Bird.
Angry
yeah,
Bird?
he plays
Okay.
7th, I believe.
Okay.
Just outside. And yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah, I hate speaking things into existence, but to me, it feels like this is the time that Punk has arrived. Both of our players actually really have like a very winnable bracket. Like I don't see either of their like bracket demons in their path or anything like that. They're both in winners. We'll see. Obviously, like when it comes down to it, you got to be your best self. But when you're coming from winner side, at minimum, you can win EVO in 3 sets.
That's nuts. Which it might make for. I'm not gonna knock on wood and say like we might have a shorter day today if that is the case. But the past 2 days, me and Jake being spectators, have been long.
Very
Absolutely.
long. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys have been getting in here like 11, 10, 12, and you're staying till like
9:30. Yeah.
But
Watching the rest of the loser sets.
I feel for the players because like they clock into play, and then especially Punk, he's like, at least my observation, so well received in the venue. Like he's going from station to station, and in between, like he kind of has to like mini meet and greet the whole way.
Yeah. It's always like, I mean, especially Punk, he's like a household name. But yeah, Saturday, in terms of like super majors, Saturday is always the longest. It's a marathon. It's a marathon because you essentially start from round 2 and you go all the way up to top 8. For this tournament, it was top 6, so that's even worse. That's a whole day of starting. You finish Friday is a little bit more low key. Friday, you wake up, maybe sleep in, maybe you like get a little warm up in, have a quick breakfast, and then you play your, you sluggishly go through pools and and then that's it. But Saturday, you wake up, you play your round 2, and you go all the way through, like you said, while meeting and greeting the whole way through.
Yeah, which we had a couple at this booth behind us. Which how to feel to have like, this isn't a Melee event, but you had people coming up for your meet and greet yesterday.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. I was actually not expecting that many people. Granted, I've taken like a couple dozen pictures. Not even at the meet and greet, just people are just like,
yeah, I've seen.
I don't know how many times
the dudes have been getting stopped like crazy.
Yeah, people are just like, dude, I can't believe you're here. Like Melee hasn't been here forever. I'm like, yeah, like I have the script, like, yeah, I'm doing FlyQuest stuff. I'm playing a little bit of Strive. Like, no way, I didn't know you played Strive. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play Kai, and they're like, you should play Chip.
Everyone is really excited to hear that you are picking up a 2D fighter. Actually,
yeah, it's pretty cool, and it is my secondary fighting game. I've just been a Melee boy since I was in diapers. Like, I've never played other fighting games like that. I think the only fighting game that I did play the most was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting game for the Super Nintendo. And apparently that game sucks. But as a wee lad, that was fun.
I'll stand
that
behind
game
you
was
on that
fun.
one because when you were talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games for Super Nintendo, I actually played that game too with my brothers, and we like kind of like bonded over how couch co-op is kind of gone, like it's died.
Oh, true.
It's a dead genre. The old days of just split screen co-op playing with your friends after school or with your your siblings.
Are we talking about the beat 'em up side scroller? Like
No, that you're thinking of Turtles in Time.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like a fighting game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Andrew, this is your first Evo, right? So what are like the big takeaways being here in Vegas and being on the floor?
Everyone was saying that it was going to be like a marathon. It was going to be overwhelming, but I think that was in past years at the Mandalay Bay.
True.
Today, like this year, is the first time it's in the Las Vegas Convention Center. My coffee just kicked in. But what's it called? It's been like super spacious. I wish we could pan around, but yeah, I don't feel overwhelmed. I do agree that it is a bit of a marathon.
Absolutely.
In between games, I've been able to check out other stations. Like I watched Mortal Kombat from the main stage. Got to see Sonic take it home.
Hell yeah.
That was pretty sick. Yeah, I overall have been enjoying it, and everyone has been pretty friendly. Like me and Jake were trying to like see what the etiquette is to get in on some Strive sessions here at the free play stations, which we're actually filming the podcast from here. So thank you, EVO, for letting us do this. We didn't ask though.
I don't think they're watching. We're in the corner there.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Melee, there's 4 ports. You just sit down, easy call next. But like in a 2D fighter, like sometimes you gotta kick dude off.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
No, it is a little embarrassing. Like you told me, or apparently the etiquette is like you show up and if 2 people are playing, you're like, all right, I'll let them play like 5 games. And if one person is getting like if you notice that one person is getting cooked, that's when you can kind of step in and be like, hey, mind if I hop on? Which has got to be a really embarrassing feeling. If you're just like, if you know that there's a bunch of people behind you waiting to play and you're just like, you're just eating shit. You're just getting cooked. It must be a funny feeling to just like, hey, you want me to take over for you?
You would think that, but imagine the time that you fought like your hero at the regional or something in New York. Who was like the #1 player in New York when you were going to regionals?
When I was going to regionals, I guess for upstate New York, the #1 player when I was rising was Josiah Tag, an old school Marth player from 07.
Shout out to Josiah Tag.
Josiah.
Best hair in the game. So yeah, just imagine you sat down with him. You're getting cooked. Probably you're not keeping track, but you probably lost 7 in a row. Someone asked to get in. No shame.
Yeah. That's a rotation. I'm talking about like, because there's only two ports, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like step back. Meanwhile, Melee, you can do like a 3-man rotation. You could, you can sneak in some teams if they're about it,
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more socially acceptable to like hang out at the setup, than get your games in.
They're equally socially acceptable.
They are? Okay.
This is all in your head.
This is all in my head?
Yes, I guarantee you this is all in your head. It's the same culture. You just ask next, and that's just how it is.
I mean, we got next on a setup eventually. It just happened to be against Tempest.
True.
And we'll get into that later. But Andrew, so we're both playing Strive, right? Has there been another game that because there's tons of fighting games. Has there been one that caught your eye that you're like, oh, I want to get into this, like Third Strike, Marvel?
So actually, it was Third Strike.
Third Strike.
I did play that with my cousins when I was younger.
Yeah.
Just obviously not competitively because I didn't know about esports until like 2015. But yeah, I grew up with older cousins who like played Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, so they already kind of had like their like sessions, and then they would bring friends in, and I kind of relate that to how the competitive scene has maintained kind of grassroots. Because I think when you before online, if you wanted to play somebody, you have to like either go to their area or even go to their house. So I think that plays a part in why everyone is so friendly here, because
100%.
Yeah, you kind of have to be social to compete on LAN.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But then, like in the same vein, nowadays, there's like, I heard someone call Jack like a Discord Strive player or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So to talk about Jack a little bit, he's in winner side of top 6 in Guilty Gear. That dude, I believe this is his very first
tournament, right?
Tournament ever, and he he wins the FlyQuest Fight Series all the time. He's there like almost every single Thursday that we're running Guilds a Year, and he is winning like other tournaments throughout the week, like the TNS ones. And then he just came here, and he's like the real fucking deal.
Yeah,
like an online warrior, and he's just like super fucking legit.
He's our like Slippy Kid equivalent, right?
Yes.
Where's he from?
I have no idea.
No idea. Because I know that we do FFS West Coast, East Coast. I know TNS is predominantly East Coast. So I'd assume he's probably East Coast. I just don't know like where.
I honestly forget. I honestly
like
forget.
Up or down, like New York or Florida.
I don't know. I forget.
I am seeing a lot of like Strive players coming from East Coast.
Yeah.
So I can kind of assume that that'd be a safe bet, low key. I don't know. We'll have to ask Tempest because when Nitro won yesterday, there was like a whole gang of like New Yorkers pretty much that pulled up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was crazy, man. The fact that two of our players had to play each other in bracket to qualify for winner side top 24 was wild. Super duper fucking wild because it was Tempest, who's the number 1 seed, and then Nitro, who I think was the 17th seed or something like that. And then they ended up having to play each other, and it was like I was watching, I was like, this is so strange. I want them both to win, obviously, and like it was just crazy to watch. So I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it was just like a whirl of emotions when watching that one.
Oh yeah, my heart definitely stopped.
Yeah,
it is like team kills, especially for this tournament. Like you wouldn't expect that, right? There's so many players. They're like, oh, there's no shot they run into each other.
Yeah.
I wonder. I assume that doesn't happen super. Like, have they played before? Or was that their first time like meeting up?
They've definitely played before, but I don't know about within the last year, which is, and this FlyFighters program is 11 months old as of today, I think. So
almost
not like fully today, but you know what I'm saying. It's like
approaching August.
Yeah. We're coming up on the full year.
Let's pivot back to Jack because I think that's super cool that a Discord Strive player, if that's what they're calling him. I don't see how. I mean, I know you can mostly play Strive online. Like you don't, like you can enter locals, but you can learn the game. You have training. There's a nice level system through like ranked. But how rare is it for a tournament like that's this stacked for someone who's not only their first in-person tournament, but their first time playing outside of like TNS or these online brackets?
I think it's really rare. It's mostly because like to win a tournament requires tournament experience. That's how I've always felt about it. And that's why I always think like online tournaments are training for in-person tournaments. And like, you know, I don't think there should ever be like the online super major that's as equal to like EVO, you know, something like that. Yeah. So I'm just like really impressed by Jack. I don't know. I can't believe that they're able to like clutch out these games, but clearly the skill is there, and they just must be a very natural competitor. And I said earlier, he's on a mini Jmook run.
Yeah.
He is definitely on a mini Jmook run.
We'll see.
Now.
I mean, if he places second, we'll start calling that. But yeah, that is very impressive. Like thinking about my experience of doing that, like, you know, I entered small regionals with like a few big tournaments here and there, and then just showing up and just going on this like Cinderella run. Like you have to shut out the rest of the, like there's 2 worlds. There's the world of what's happening in front of you, and then there's the secondary world of the hype and the, oh shit, like who is this guy? Like why is he, like this is his first tournament he's playing like this, you know, because it's nerve-wracking. Like EVO is the Super Bowl for FGC. It is the place to show up and give it your all, and with that becomes a ton of nerves, especially for the established veteran players who have to, you know, who no longer have the underdog status. So like it's the combination of like, yes, if you're underdog, you have the crowd cheering for you. You have that nice little bonus, but it's still your first tournament. There's still people like going crazy. You have to tune that out, put your headphones on, lock in, Davis Clark style. You know, you just, you know, that's what you gotta do.
Shout out Davis Clark. What else do you have to factor in when coming to a tournament as a competitor, especially your first one? Because I feel like there's so many things outside of your control. Like we had people have delays in their flights to like even make it to like their pool. It was just like for your first tournament, like what did you have to prepare for?
I started in person first and then got into online once COVID started happening. So I was already used to like locals. The weekly locals were like, that was my home base for practicing, and then like solo practice, 20xx 3.02, shadow boxing, watching VODs. Like I had a very old school way of practicing. I didn't just grind like online like early on. That was something that came after.
Yeah.
But even then, the local is so different from the super major. Like I'm sure when you got to the super major, there's so many things you learned that you didn't know, right?
Yeah, it's something that you had to learn on the fly. Like even just having a big crowd like that, you hit one combo and you just hear this loud like this roar, you know, and you know even through the headphones, right? Yeah, it is different, and I guess compared to Jack, like Jack probably does have that knack for just focusing on the game, focusing on the box on the screen, tuning out, having this hyper focus on the game, and everything else is just external stimuli that is just not coming in.
But that's all inside the building. What about like once you leave the building? Like you still have to like your meals aren't consistent, right? It's like you have to find food around the area unless you have a like favorite land meal.
No, more often than not, the like in and out most likely say it's always like the typical Smasher thing is just like, all right, what's the closest fast food? Let's just go there, mob up, and then drive home. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like in the hands of like whatever is in the area.
Yeah, I like to eat heavier at the start of the day, and then I snack all throughout the tournament.
Eat like a bird.
Yeah.
You snack, trail mix, get your salt, good for your diet. Get some salt. Natural sugar is better to eat your sugar than pounding energy drinks. So if you have chocolate, trail mix, that's why trail mix is so good. You get sweet and salty. You know, get nuts. You get chocolate. You know, you get some fruit. But yeah, throughout the day, you're just constantly snacking here and there. I watch players and they're like, you know, hey, my pool's in an hour. Let's get Chipotle. I'm like, that's like after that's like Friday, Saturday night thing, you know. But big breakfast in the morning is definitely the play because there's nothing worse than showing up to your pool starving and just waiting for your pool to end, and then like you want to eat that big meal but you can't because you don't want to be digesting for hours on end.
I think something that's really difficult about playing on the road is playing in a hostile environment. Playing in a hostile environment and being able to execute your game plan is a skill in of itself. We are at Vegas. This isn't exactly like the home base of any one community. But for instance, back in the day, like if I'm a California player and I'm traveling out to New York, I'm playing in that hostile environment. You know, there's like mad hecklers behind me.
Yeah.
They're like yelling at me. And then also conversely, if I'm playing at home and I'm playing against like someone who I'm like supposed to win and they go on like a mini run, you also kind of know that like the home crowd behind you is like, you know, like like you can also feel that too.
Yeah.
And something that I was thinking about is like, yeah, since games have become a lot more online, there's like way less of like regional, tribalistic kind of feel. But as I was thinking about it, and on Friday we went to go see the 2XKO booth, the moment that game drops, instead of it being like regional pride, it's gonna be like your community pride. It's like, oh, that dude came from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
This dude came from Melee. And like that's, to me, that's probably gonna be that new like regional pride.
Yeah. Not regional, but more so like game pride. It's like this dude came from Street Fighter. That shows that Street Fighter is like that's the real.
And so I like to just call it like it's just like tribal. It's like tribal pride.
Yeah.
It's no longer regional.
I do sorry to cut you off, but yeah, I do think that the development of online play has kind of distinguished like regional pride and also like regional styles. Like no longer do we talk about like the SoCal play style or the East Coast play style because everyone plays everyone now. The collective and like as Melee to Melee, like the Melee language, everyone is starting to become more and more on the same page. Meanwhile, before online, you just were locked in your own region playing each other, and then you'd show up and play. You're like, oh wow, like I didn't know if, like Falcons play so differently on the East Coast. Why are they lasering so much? You know, it's like that kind of thing.
Getting to try 2XKO, you got to team with some Strive players, which we shot in a piece of content.
True.
I wonder how that'll play going into the future. Like, we're going to see some crazy crossovers for duos.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like, the Strive player might be playing with, like, the Granblue player, and then the Street Fighter player might be playing with, like, the Melee player or something like that, you know?
So Riot might be, like, doing a 200 IQ move here by, like, trying to, like, unite the nations. But also, I feel like, even though I said everyone's friendly and buddy-buddy here, there is a sense of, like, hierarchy in terms of games. Like, we could make, like, a mini tier list right now where it's, like, objectively, I've heard that Mortal Kombat is shit. Even though one of the best players, Sonic Fox, in the world, just won it. I wonder what that says. Is it the game or is it the competition?
Yeah, it's difficult, right? Because Sonic Fox has everyone's adoration. Like so much respect. Everyone in this building respects Sonic Fox, even if they don't like them.
Yeah,
you know, you gotta respect it. But yeah, it's interesting the way that people talk about certain games, especially in the past. Like the ideal Street Fighter is like I'm playing footsies with you. I'm like conditioning you. Like, you know, I'm playing hella smart. Like I'm going in and out of your like threat zones and doing all that stuff. Then like you go and you watch even like top level play, and they're like dry rushing in and mashing buttons on you, you know? And people are like, oh, that's wrong, you know? But like in people's like ideal world, they're like, oh, like Street Fighter is like the most pure fighting game, you know? Like this is the one that started it all. And granted, like obviously there's like truth there, but yeah, people feel weird about certain games, you know? They're like Street Fighter, like Brainiac game, or Marvel 3 Degenerate game, you know? Melee's the children's game, you know, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's weird. But like in reality, like I don't know, I just think it's like you still gotta beat the guy in front of you and like outthink him, outperform, do all that stuff. So I don't know.
I did hear there's some prestige to Street Fighter being like its own thing, in that if you've never played Street Fighter, have never played another fighting game, then that's something that's really, really hard. Like that takes years upon years upon years to like finally understand like Street Fighter and play it like and go toe to toe with these veterans. Because you know who's the Takedo, right? He won EVO 2002,
something like that. Yeah.
2003, and he's still up here 22, 21 years later, and he's still playing super hot like Punk. Like he, you know, that was a cool set between him and Punk, right? But I have heard that like Strive is a much easier game to get into if you've never played a 2D fighter than it is to just pick up Street Fighter. Like, oh, I've never played a 2D fighter before. I don't know if that is a testament to the purity of Street Fighter, or Strive is just like the fundamentals are a lot easier to pick up. I'm not so sure, but that's kind of the gist that I've gotten from Street Fighter players. You know, I assume that's game pride.
Speaking as like a new Strive player, I think I was able to get into it because they just have like a pretty robust like tutorial system. I really appreciate that, and then the barrier to entry for like online play. I'm not getting my ass whooped all the time. I think the floor system is pretty good because it kind of builds my confidence. Like starting at floor 1, I was just like, all right, I'm offing these kids. But probably on the other side is probably like a 10-year-old that just like downloaded the game like, oh, this looks cool. But also it's like kind of an ego boost. You like go up to like floor 10 or some shit, and you get a win off that, and you're just like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I entered FFS and then got smoked.
Nice. We play very differently too. It's cool to see. Like we both play Kai, but it's cool to see that my Melee experience and then your experience. Like, you know, you've played other games. I'd seen you play more FPS.
Yeah.
You know, but COD obviously. But.
And you also played through all the tutorial, and he has not. And I see you doing things that like the tutorial would teach you. And yeah, you two play totally different. It's actually fucking dope.
Is it? Maybe that's our approach to like studying. Like I'm a visual learner, so going through the tutorial, like learning like the whole skill book, I was like, okay, like I I know the breadth of what I can do. Well, what would you say your learning style is? Like, are you like more like a doer, or I saw you writing in a playbook yesterday.
It's more like call and response. Like when I see something on the screen and I'm like told to like press this button, I want to know like response, and I want to know how it feels to respond. So like I want to like, even with my eyes closed, I want to feel what it's like to 5K 2D dash cancel, 5K like rinse repeat. I want to know what that feels like in my head with my hands. So like next time I see that on the screen, like having reaction points and going from there. Granted, we're still both super, super new, and it feels like one step forward and 26 steps back.
Exactly.
Like I played Tempest, right? And I was like, okay, this guy cooks me, and this guy cooks him. And knowing those power levels, I'm like, okay, sure, but I could probably get a hit in. I could probably like if I get one like just a nice 5K 2D, maybe 5K 5D, if he's blocking low. None of that happened. I just like watched a bunch of cutscenes, and suddenly my health was gone, and he just fist bumped me without looking me in the eyes in his Tempest way. He was demoralizing, but huge respect because we've only played people of our floor. I've never played anyone of that skill level. Like to me, like he feels, like pro. But then I played the actual pro, and I'm like, there's levels. There's that many levels. I mean, I'm on floor 5. I rate. I move it to floor 6, then back down to 5. He's on floor. I mean, what's the floor equivalent? Like 50, 58?
Celestial.
So I know it's celestial, but like in terms of the floor system, I'm just saying that he would be like, he would be in the skyscraper, right?
Yeah.
I'm just in the public school,
Maybe we got to get in on like the locals on the West Coast side. I don't even know where to find Strive locals.
I'll hook you guys up.
All right.
But it's interesting. I think something that I take a personal like amount of pride in is when I know someone is so much better than me to like fearlessly go in there and like play them, do what I know how to do, not try to do anything that I haven't practiced, and trust what I know already. That always feels so good to me. Like that's something that's always felt good to me ever since I was like super young, like challenging like whoever that like should beat me, and like not ever feeling afraid is like, that's like super satisfying.
Do you feel like fighting games kind of like spill into like the way you approach life? Like I feel at least my personal experience playing fighting games, being able to take on an opponent and not be scared, like someone that should be like way better than me, I go to a higher floor, kind of like seeps into my life where I'm just like, all right, like I might be like scared going into like certain life situation, but I know I have like some preparation on, or trusting in myself for that thing. There's like, it's like trusting myself and then respecting my opponent or respecting the situation. Do you feel like your experience in fighting games kind of like influences how you live your life as well?
It's weird because I see it. I think it taps more into my personality. Like I've never considered. It's weird. I never considered myself like a competitive person. It feels like Melee is like my competitive outlet or my means of being competitive. It's like how I take the edge off in a sense. But like I don't feel like competitive. Like I don't get into arguments. I'm very low key. I never like argue with people. I'm not like, no, you're wrong, and like you're like, here's why you need to listen to me on why I'm right. Like I'm not I don't feel like I'm that person. Granted, if I'm a top competitor in a video game, I guess you could say I'm a competitive person, because I feel like if I wasn't,
it taught you how to be competitive.
Probably.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's how I feel, because people think being competitive is like never backing down or like being argumentative. But I think your experience has taught you how you like to compete and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I just had a brain blast because when I got into the game, I was 14, and I met my best friend at my first tournament, and I was always like the younger brother of the team. Like I was always like, at least a couple of years, 5, 10 years younger than everyone. So I was like the little brother of the group. And my first friend group, they were all a couple years older than me, and they would talk shit. They would talk that sweet. They would talk shit. And I was just a young lad. I had long hair. I was just a wee little. I looked like Mowgli, dude, from Jungle Book. I was just a scrawny little kid, and I couldn't stand up for myself. I couldn't like talk back. I couldn't talk shit. So I was like, well, if I can't talk shit with my mouth, I could at least get good at this game and shit talk you in that way and beat you like this and make you feel like I wanna crush you with my inputs. And I feel like that. I guess that taught me how to be competitive because I couldn't stand up for myself, like physically, argumentatively, and I feel like Melee was my outlet. Like you said, it taught me how to be competitive.
Yeah, I'm extremely fucking competitive, but I don't ever get worked up about it. So it's like if we're having the company pickleball game or like free throw shooting contest or some shit like that, I I want to win, but like I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I airball 5 times in a row. I'm moving on with my life. You know, it's nothing serious, and I think that's the same way competition is. It's taught me how to like be kind to myself. It's taught me to like work hard to work through shit that sucks for the reward, and to kind of just like be fearless in my approach. I think one of the things that Andrew said about me early on after meeting was that like I'm very like sure of myself.
Mm-hmm.
While that might be true, I think it's more so I'm just willing to like take the dive, even if like I'm afraid or even if I'm like unsure of like how shit's gonna work out. And I think that's like the biggest lesson that competition's taught me.
Yeah, you're intentional. You know, if you're gonna do something, you want to do it right your way and squeeze as much out of it.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
even just by how you talk to people, you're just very like locked in the moment, and you want it because like if not, it's like, well, what am like then what's the point, right? You want to be not to say you're like go fierce all the time. It's just saying that like that's your disposition is to give it all and then watch how the ripples follow.
I guess as we're moving towards like the last couple minutes of the pod, what are expectations today? Like it's the last day of EVO.
Shit.
The last day.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm down $400 in gambling. That shit sucks.
But we got 2 of our boys. He's down 500, but we could
400.
be. Huh?
400.
I said forward.
I could have been there with you. I remember the first night when Kevin was trying to convince us to go gambling, and I was like, "Oh, how much should I budget?" Or you're like, "How much are you willing to lose?" And I was like, maybe like $100." He's like, "You gotta crank those numbers up," and then just kept going up until we were like at 1,000.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
That's my budget.
1,000 is like that's your
Yeah.
we can go band for band.
like tonight. No matter what happens, I mean, I know you're already down 400, but it's still 1,000, no matter what. Or does it depend based on how much?
Well, I
you're
mean,
under?
if the tables are cold, then I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm gonna be down like 500, I'm not gonna try to like make it back.
Yeah.
Out of like some ego shit.
We should have instead of that one dude flubbing all the cardistry tricks, we should just have Zayd give him a deck of cards and just have him take over the table.
They would hate that. They would throw us out so fast.
Yeah.
It is interesting to see familiar faces here too. Like Zayd,
Right.
there was like one other person that pulled up.
There's probably some people that you've recognized. There's a lot of melee heads. Even Bobak,
Right.
Deer, some melee TOs as well as Peter from Nouns.
Ohan.
Shouts to Ohan. The GOAT.
Okay, but to actually talk about the expectations for the rest of the tournament. So, obviously, we got 2 players in winner's side of top 6. I don't like using the W word, but I think they'll both be gold medalists by the end of today. This is truly my belief. This isn't like some bullshit. I think it's like Nitro has to play Jack. Jack is on the Cinderella run. I think like he can actually stop it right in its tracks. He's probably going to go Geo against Happy Chaos, and that works out great for Geo. And then after that, he just got to beat the guy in front of him, and he's going to be in grand finals. Mm-hmm. And then for Punk, he's got to fight Momochi. Momochi, I think, is a great matchup for him. And then after that, he's either got to fight Big Bird or Enning Walker, and I think he respects both of those guys a ton. and I think they both have like a clear path to the finals. So
I'm excited. I can't wait to see. It's nice that it's right down there too. We don't have to walk to the Mandalay Bay.
Right.
Yeah, super cool to see. It feels like just by eyeballing it, it looks like Nitro has like a really, really good bracket or like a nice like fighting chance. Like doesn't run into any bracket demons. Punk is already like Punk is Punk. You know, he's bound to run into the heavy hitters, but I'm just getting the impression that either they just win it all or they make it to grands in some way. I feel like both of them are going to make it to grands at least.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys giving your expectations on that in that sense. And I'm not going to speak on my expectations because I'm very superstitious. I have like been doing the same shit every day, and I'm not saying that like I contributed to some of this, but like I just don't want anything to fuck up our players' chances. So I'm not going to speak on my expectations. And also, whenever I show up late to an event, we end up doing well.
All right,
Did you show up late today? You plan to show up late?
I will be showing up late because I actually have to do something else before.
Yeah, could you leave right now and just come back in? Pretend like you're check your watch and all that.
I'm like, oh, sorry, I had to feed my goldfish.
Yeah. Sorry, my fish ate my homework.
In that realm, do you guys have any particular superstitions like going into like Sunday? Like not just this Sunday, but like any like championship Sunday?
I am the most superstitious person. If one of our players is winning, I will not change what I'm doing at all. I will not talk to anyone. I'm not gonna even take a sip of my water. I have a rule when the Warriors are playing. If I'm watching the first half, it goes to halftime and we're winning, I'm not allowed to take a shower. If we're losing, I'm allowed to take a shower, and I should because it washes the bad luck away. When I made it to finals in 2016, EVO Top 8 finals, I wore the same underwear. I wore the same socks.
Did you flip them inside out or like?
No, because then that would be changing things.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
I also have specifically like I'm very like it's not like I plan out my outfits because I'm wearing the same thing, but like Sunday I wear the same underwear, the same socks, the same feeling. I want to, if I can, anything that's in my control, I like to control it, and anything outside my control is not something to worry about. So yeah, I do wear like the same pair of underwear, not for multiple nights, but just for Sundays. Like I have a Sunday outfit. I have Friday through Sunday. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm not superstitious.
Okay.
Superstitious.
Is it like a first day of school type beat? Like you lay it out on the bed
I got the brown paper bag. I have a good day at school, honey. It's all that.
Earlier in the week, Chris Smith, aka Papa Smithy, aka Big Boss Man, said, "Oh wow, Tempest is the #1 seed. We should post about it to like make some kind of bring awareness to this." And I was like, no, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna have to stamp that out right now. Like that is bad juju.
Mm-hmm. I'd be like, if they did that about me, like, oh, he's the #1 seed, I'd be like, I want to retweet this, but like,
yeah,
man.
Actually, there was one time where Zach and SFAT and I were the clear #1 team in the world. Been on like an 8-month tear. CLG tweets, the #1 team in the world is playing in grand finals. We lost for the next like half a year. We did not win a single major for half a year.
Besides superstition, do you think that just puts like a target on your back? Like people see that on like the online message boards? That I'm dating myself now. But yeah, you see that graphic is just like, yo, I'm gonna fucking cook this guy.
I don't know, dude, because like when I was the #1 team, like there were only like 2 or 3 teams that could contest us. I don't think they like read into it like that.
Yeah.
I honestly just think it's bad juju.
It's just more so putting the words out into the air rather than like people going like, oh wait, they're the what seed? Oh no, we gotta go after these.
Yeah.
It's not as like confrontational. It's more so like, yeah, it's bad juju and some type of omen. I don't know.
I believe it. All right. Yeah, we should probably put a wrap up on this because we we are here live at EVO again, and we are trying to catch this top 6.
Yep.
Top 6 of Strive is in half an hour. We'll be seeing Nitro. I don't know when this is going to be out, but hopefully our predictions came true. Hopefully they'll be watching this like, yeah, they knew Nitro and Punk were going to win. Of course. Let's go.
Well, we can like use this as a tease at the beginning of the episode. This
True.
whole clip, and then we're like, oh yeah, stay tuned for the end of the episode, and we'll show you what actually fucking happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not gonna be a spoiler. Like people already know.
People
but
will know, but we'll see how foolish we look or how awesome we
how
look.
we react. I'll put the reaction clip at the end.
Okay, good.
Definitely don't. I mean, I think the worst thing we could do is like that format that YouTube format was like, what do you think you'll place today, Nitro? What do you think you'll place today?
Oh God.
Be like,
I don't run the social media accounts,
first,
I don't
and
know.
it's like 49.
Yeah. No, I actually told the social marketing and lead team today. It's like, stay out of the players' way today.
Yeah.
If you need to talk to them, you gotta run it by me.
Mhm.
You know, like you gotta stay out of their way today.
Yeah.
Analogous across different esports. Like I've covered everything besides like FGC this year.
Uh-huh.
I've always tried to be a fly on the wall. I don't know if that's how your experience has been, because I've been dragging Jake around for content this past weekend. Thank you again, and also
Gotcha.
I'm sorry for what I'm putting you through.
No, it's
You'll
fine.
see it in the video.
You'll see.
But
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
but yeah, like I love being an observer because like I feel like despite whatever the state of the space is right now, there are still like hungry, competitive, passionate people that come out, and I feed off that energy, and I love watching that. And to keep that energy up, I gotta stay out of the
Agreed.
way as much as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I don't even want them to see me
Mhm.
because maybe in their minds, you have 20 seconds to get up from your chair and walk onto the stage. And if you see the CEO of the company who determines your employment, that's not in the
Yeah.
20-second mind frame that I want to be in.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree.
And so earlier, Razo was going to go up to play, and, you know, she was maybe, you know, she was probably sitting here, and we were like really close, like 10 feet away. I was like, we got to bring this back. Like, like just stay
Yeah.
out of her way,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
she-
funny watching you. Sorry.
Taking a sip of water and just like in the corner, you see Papa Smithy, you're like,
Yeah,
start
yeah.
shaking your water.
And the funny thing is, it has nothing to do with them as people. It's just that they like to determine your employment,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. And it's simple as that.
Just takes your mind out the game for
Wait,
sure.
before we wrap, also, can I just ask, do you two have any favorite FGC players after this weekend? Non-FlyQuest?
Non-FlyQuest. Dude, who was the guy that did that split?
Blitz. That clip went around.
Hayao.
That guy.
He's the fucking man,
That
dude.
guy's awesome.
He's the
dude.
fucking
That
man.
guy's awesome. I became a fan. I mean, this guy's got cheeks.
Yeah, I didn't know that they were serving
This guy's
cake
got
at
baby
the...
cakes. This guy's got baby cakes on him.
He served for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Just let him know what's up.
for Third Strike, that's definitely him. Like I said before, for Mortal Kombat, got to tip it to Sonic Fox.
Yes.
They're goated. Strive wise, seeing Umi show up and show out again,
We show.
Yes.
fucking sick.
Also, dude, I don't know why I'm like, Ending Walker is like, I love his storyline and just the young kid, and also just by how he plays, like he's so calm for being so young and so good at
Yep.
the game. Like that's someone who I would love to keep rooting for, because it feels like, you know, it'd be one thing if he's like right, it's okay to pop off, right? But this stoic young kid who's just so locked in, loves the game that much, like that's someone who I want to root for. You know?
Yeah.
So Ending Walker for sure, as well as Big Booty Cakes.
Hayao.
Hayo.
I have one more person I want to add. Like that's like not a competitive pro by some people's standards, but Jabali is out here and
Oh, legit.
actually
yeah.
got on the stage too.
Hell yeah.
Really is here.
Dude, that's a good pick. Yeah, I love asking people who like their competitive idols are. And mine are Stephen Curry, Umi Show, and I'm not gonna mention any FlyQuest players because I would put Jake up there, and Mango. So those are my big three.
What about Daigo?
Daigo Currently, no. But if you asked me a decade ago, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's right there.
It was cool to run into Daigo here because when we were trying out 2XKO, he was at the station right next to us.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
There's actually he has a holy aura.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was next to us. I was like, shit, like, what should I be doing with my life right now?
Yeah.
Like, this guy is so legendary.
Yeah, their energy's infectious, and I feel like that's kind of what drew me to FGC in the beginning. Like, you guys are like some fun dudes, and through our time together, we've become boyos.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
And
really, yeah, sorry. No, go ahead.
And I just love interrupting Jake. But I could do that.
No, I'm interrupting you. It's all good. No, Kevin has turned more into a boy. Like, I used to, like, at one point, yeah, EVO 2016, I was that kid who walked up and was like, oh my God, like, I'm seeing this in real life. I see him on the screen, and this dude exists in real life, and we're in the same bathroom. We're pissing together. You know, it's nuts, full circle. But,
Wait, they have a term for that, right? It's like a parasocial relationship.
yeah, I guess parasocial, but for me, it was just like I was just a dot kid. I worshipped the top players. I was like, these people are fucking awesome. I can't wait. Like, just seeing like how tall they are in person, be like, oh my God, like they exist as people. They're not just pixels behind a screen that I watch all the time. You know. So yeah, it's cool.
Any other closing thoughts?
Now, I hope our players do very well today.
Same.
Thank you again for setting up this podcast with me. We're giving the fans hopefully what they want, and if they want more, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and like let us know what else you guys want to see our FlyFighters do. There's a lot of things coming down the pipeline. You guys can kind of speak on like what your experience has been like being put through content so far.
It's been awesome. I mean, this will definitely be on the FlyFighters YouTube channel. Be sure to check that out. I mean, there's gonna be so much variety in terms of content. Like, I know you guys have probably already seen our, pilot episode 0 of our podcast, but as well as tier list. But there's so many different games that are going to be on there with fun content and perhaps merging of content. Like I said, once 2XKO comes out, I'll be getting into that. It's kind of why I'm getting into Strive, because apparently Strive is one of the best games to get into 2X. So you're gonna see a lot of crossovers. You see a lot of crossover episodes between me. Hope maybe I could learn Strive from Nitro, do some coaching. There's the world is our oyster for that channel.
Yeah, and I'll tell all the people at home right now, I read every single comment on like socials and on the videos. So any suggestions, any hate, any love, I read it all. So let us know.
Yeah, I know for sure for Drunk History, I'm gonna remove the AI things.
They hated that, huh?
Yeah.
They fucking hated that.
It's controversial. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you again, boys.
Of course.
Let's cut it here with a 3-way high five.
Okay.
1, 2.
Nice.
I feel like I could have
Wait,
just
hold on,
broke Jake's
hold
hand.
on.
Okay.
You guys can see, all right, one more shot. This is
Okay.
You get 2 tries.
Left hand. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Oh, that one's good. That one's good. All right.
All right.
Bye. All right, so tournament's over. Were we right or?
We were so right. I wasn't even half joking. I was like looking at Nitro's bracket. I was like, he could win. Punk, he could win. And just for all of this to happen at once in one weekend, and like I told Kevin, the cherry on top is that all of us were watching, all of FlyQuest is backed up by it, watching that shit live. That's important. That's important than just watching it at home on Twitch and being on the community Discord. Like that's a whole different thing to see that shit live. Like, I didn't even enter anything. I'm like, I can't wait for the next tournament. I can't wait to, like, I don't know, it's inspiring, dude.
And it just does not feel real at all. I don't even know what to say, but 2 EVO titles in one weekend is...
Unprecedented?
Yeah, but it's...
Probably.
It's like improbable. It's like unprecedented. It like feels impossible to me. It's just fucking crazy, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how I feel right now. It's just that crazy. Like, obviously, and I said it earlier, the credit entirely goes to those two. But to just be along with it is like, it's like fucking crazy.
It's different, man. everything just magically pieced together in one way or another.